a beautiful experience. First off, let me say that I'm at the Optimistic Manor in Venice, California, creating the Positive Head podcast as well as the Optimistic pilot for the new talk show, late night talk show that they've got going. And wow, I've had a great experience. I had a session with Mary Beth, and at the moment I don't have her last name, but I'm gonna put her information in the bio, in the description. And the session was past life regression and hypnotherapy, my first session ever, and I've been aligning to it all year, so it was beautiful to get to experience that here. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what that was like, or talk to myself so that I can remember what it was like. First of all, like any hypnotherapy session, the only reason I really know this is because actually my youngest sister went through a hypnotherapy session already, and one of my good friends. And I wrote out some questions, and I kind of knew, or at least my higher self told me while I was writing these questions, that they were kind of a waste. They were like really third dimensional questions I already know the answers to, things that I'm hung up on for no reason when I can be asking things that are like out of this world. Like way more exciting questions. And so it's kind of like me talking to my higher self talking to me saying like, okay, she's not exactly ready for all of this yet. That's fine. And that had a lot to do with the questions that I wrote and the fact that I didn't change them. And I go into this session with Mary Beth and I talk to her about it, and it felt like she just recognized me right away, who I was, what I'm good at. And she also recognized that there's a lot I can't handle right now. And a few of the healers here at the Optimistic Manor have, like Sydney Campos, who's amazing. Anyway, we go into the past life regression, right? So she takes me through a guided meditation, and she asked me to go to a beautiful place to sit on a beach or in a meadow. And when I was asked to do that, I ended up in this very, very strong high energy. I saw 222 when I was talking about that. Anyway, I ended up in this really, really strong energy, and I wasn't sitting. Like, she asked me to go sit somewhere. I ended up floating, levitating in the sky, right at the like peak of these really beautiful mountains, this really beautiful forest on these mountains. And so I'm right at the peak of these mountains and the sky, and I'm seeing myself, or this body, in a triangle of translucent energy. And it's the strongest energy that I have ever felt. Such a beautiful, beautiful place. And during this hypnotherapy session and the meditation, she's asking me to speak with her and explain to her what I've got, what I'm going through. And so when I told her that, I can tell what happened was that the energy, I suppose, was so strong that her phone stopped working. So she's fidgeting with her phone, trying to run me through the meditation while turning her phone on so she can record the session for me, which maybe I'll share it. Maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, trying to record the session for me. And then I think that if that would have not happened, she would have been able to, like, oh my God, she's not sitting on the ground. She's floating in the air. That's totally different. Maybe I should change up the meditation. But she's, these earthly things, whatever. Highest energy ever. And then she has me go like float into a past life. Well, I couldn't float into a past life. I couldn't do it. So what I did instead was see these almost like still images. Really, really beautiful images. They were third dimensional and they were active, but they weren't moving. And she wanted me to see a scene or speak to the people, but I couldn't do it. There's something in me that wouldn't let go of control. I also think that that's an aspect that I have with females with the feminine energy. I miss this one spot of hair on my legs. And anyway, whatever. I think that's an aspect of me with the feminine energy. It's hard for me to let go of control around a woman or it's much easier for me to let go around a man, and I believe has a lot to do with my relationship with my father versus my relationship with my mother. And I'm sure there's past life stuff in there that I'm not ready for. And it's okay to not be ready, and it's okay to go through these sessions and not be ready and not be completely open to it. It's totally fine. In fact, it's probably really important for those of you who feel aligned and might be listening to this. You might be aligned to something like this if you're listening to me talk about this. So I saw a bunch of still images, and then she takes me back and she asks to speak to my higher self. And my higher self, as soon as she asked that, this voice comes in that I hear in my head all the time. It's my intuition, it's my guidance. This cadence, this calm, masculine voice comes in and starts to speak through me and explains things. And when that happened, my whole body, I got this I felt what could have been my future self. An old lady came into my body and was like, "What? Where am I?" And I was like, "You're in my body." But I was in her body. So it was like this mix and match, the two of us in each other's bodies. And I could feel her moving around in my body, and I was in her body, but I couldn't move. I could not move. I was like, what? My neck was kinked, and I can feel the bones in my body very uncomfortable. And my right leg was also kinked. And my higher self was explaining that to Mary Beth. And then Mary Beth asked if we could heal that right now. So my higher self was like, heck yeah. Well, actually they don't use, he or she did not use all of that emphasis. That's a human thing. Anyway, and after that, I felt my spine realign, my neck realign. I felt my leg realign, and then that's my right leg, and then my left leg, it started ticking like a clock. So it laid completely down, and then it click, click, click. Throughout the meditation, I don't know how long it was going like that for, because when I finished the meditation, she asked me how long it felt like it was, and I said, like 20 minutes, and it was an hour and a half long. An hour and 24 minutes, actually. Anyway, so it keeps clicking, and then eventually it locks into place, and then I felt complete alignment throughout my whole body. And it was very interesting, this healing modality of connecting to my higher self, or just connecting to my higher self like that, because I could hear when my higher self was coming through, and I can hear when I was blocking it out, and I was not allowing my higher self to speak through me. It's like, don't want them to know that. Or I don't want to know the truth. I listen to myself lie to myself. Or block out my higher self, block out my intuition to, experience these things. Or to be like, no. Keep myself in the lower realms. And it's kind of hard to share that. And I have to say, I'm being very vulnerable right now to tell that with all of you, that I do lie. As honest as I think I am, I do lie. So here it is. That's my experience. That was my past life regression, hypnotherapy experience. And now I've learned emotional code and how to clear emotions, trapped emotions in the body. And I would like to start practicing that. But I do still carry this fear that doesn't want to practice in front of people. The fear of being wrong, the fear of being told I'm wrong, or I'm not doing it correctly, or doing something wrong in front of somebody. Yeah, I've got a giant fear of being wrong. Because of because of my childhood, and always having these magical experiences, but being told they weren't real or correct, or that I was a know-it-all, or that I was wrong. But I think clarity is also something in my human design chart that I'm working on. So if you have any comments, drop them in. If you've ever been through a past life regression or hypnotherapy session and want to share, throw it in the comment. If you want to hear more from me, throw it in a comment. If I'm going to practice emotional coding, and then within the next week or so, I'm going to start offering it to people. So love you all. Thanks for sitting with me through this amazing journey.